What's up, shit? Timmons here. Her new show called Vladimir premiering on Netflix on Thursday, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Rachel Weisz movies because she's also is an Oscar-winning actress. She's also married to James Bond himself, Daniel Craig. Which I always found odd she's never appeared in her in Craig's Bond movies. Like the only time they've actually worked together, if I'm not mistaken, was that little horror film Dream House. I find it weird that she's never appeared in his Bond movies as the Bond girl. But anyway. But she still is incredible and other stuff. So here is my official top 10. All right. Number 10 is the film Stealing Beauty. Now, Stealing Beauty was like one of her earliest roles, really. It features the likes of Jeremy Irons, Liv Tyler, Joseph Fiennes. And it was directed by the last Emperor and Last Tango in Paris director, Bernardo. I can never pronounce his last name too well. Bocciolucci, and it's where like this 19-year-old named played by Liv Tyler, who travels to Tuscany to stay for with family friends here, while trying to uncover like the identity of her biological father here. And it is a really interesting. And she, of course, over the one summer, she transforms. She navigates grief, love, adulthood, and all that. It is a really decent film. Here you got Rachel Weisz, who plays Miranda Fox, who's a sharp-tongued, worldly, slightly jaded friend with like a bohemian Tuscany circuit here. And this was actually her first major role, and she did such a good job throughout. Um, like unlike the Lucy character, Miranda's represents experience, confinement, emotionally guarded here. A really decent performance, to say the least. And of course, like again, I don't think this was like her first film, but this was like one of her earliest. All right. Coming in at number 9 is The Favorite. The Favorite was directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who of course recently gave us stuff like Kinds of Kindness, Poor Things. He just put out Bagona. And this movie here is about two cousins who compete for the influence over Queen Anne in the early 18th century England. And you, of course, got Olivia Colman, Emma Stone. She actually got an Oscar nomination with Emma Stone for Best Supporting Actress. And here you got Rachel, who plays Lady Sarah Churchill, who's a sharp-tongued, politically Sylvie, confident to Queen Anne here. And definitely a really solid performance throughout. She definitely embodies the role pretty well. Olivia Colman's really good in this one, too. It's such a really good film there. All right. Number 8 is Black Widow. Black Widow was, of course, like pretty much the first MCU movie to come out since Spider-Man, Spider-Man No Way Home or Spider-Man Far From Home. My bad. And of course, here you got Natasha Romanoff, who confronts her past and former spy family, and you got Rachel Weisz, who plays Melina Volosakov, who's a seasoned Red Room scientist and material figure in Natasha's fake family here. And she actually doesn't really reprise her role in live action form, but she actually did reprise her role vocal, that is, on the show What If. So whether we'll actually see her live action again, who knows? But I really did quite like Rachel Weisz here. Definitely really like had the comic book persona pretty well. Really great chemistry with David Harbour, Scarlett Johansson and stuff. I really quite like Black Widow. I mean, is it as like one of the best out of the MCUs? Definitely not. But definitely had some moments, some fun aspects to it, and not a bad film there. Now, that's not the only comic book film she's done in her career. Number 7 is Constantine. Constantine, of course, is based on the DC comics, starring Keanu Reeves, Tilda Swinton, John Hansoon, Shia LaBeouf. And it's about a demon hunter who investigates a woman who took her own life and uncovers a battle between heaven and hell here. And Rachel Weisz plays a police detective investigating her twin sister's mysterious death here. And Rachel, of course, plays dual roles, and she does such a good job throughout. Of course, her chemistry with Keanu Reeves is really good. Really fierce throughout. A really cool performance here. And still wonder if we're ever going to get that Constantine sequel, but who knows. All right, number 6, Oz, Great and Powerful. Now, here, of course, she plays the role of Evanora, who's the third Wicked Witch sister. And of course, Oz Great and Powerful is, like a prequel, if you will, of The Wizard of Oz, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Mila Kunis, James Franco, Michelle Williams. And here you got Rachel Weisz, who plays Avenora, who's the Wicked Witch of the East, who, if you guys remember, gets, is the one to get killed by Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz lore. And of course, in Wicked, totally different character in Wicked, because in Wicked she actually has a wheelchair and stuff. So a totally different character in the Wicked movies. But here she, of course, orchestrates the film's central deception here. And of course, she does play the sister of Mila Kunis, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, definitely their like sisterly dynamic chemistry was pretty cool throughout. I really quite like Oz Great and Powerful. I mean, it doesn't really get like. I mean, obviously, I think ever since Wicked, I feel like Oz Great and Powerful, like Wicked overshadows Oz Great and Powerful now. But I really still quite like Oz Great and Powerful. Definitely had a fun time with this one when I saw it. Love the scenery. It's a really decent Wizard of Oz film. Number 5 is Runaway Jerry. Runaway Jerry stars the likes of John Cusack, Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman, directed by Gary Fedler. And here's, of course, you got like a Jerry who manipulates a high-profile gun manufacturer trial. And here you got Rachel Weisz, who plays Molly, who's a savvy, morally complex woman manipulating the trial from outside the courtroom here. And she does such a good job throughout. A really wonderful performance. Love the courtroom aspects. The cast of characters from John Cusack to Gene Hackman to Dustin Hoffman. It is a really good one that I feel like doesn't get talked about as much, but it's a really good courtroom film. All right. Number 4 is Confidence. Confidence is a crime film about like this a group of con artists who plans a complex scam against a dangerous crime boss. And you also do got the aforementioned Dustin Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, Rachel Weisz, Ed Burns. Rachel Weisz plays this mysterious pickpocket who may or may not be playing everyone here. And she's very charm and visually here. Very the female fatale archetype character really well. It's a really decent film, say the least. Directed by James Foley, who will go on to direct, of course, he did do Glengarry Glen Ross, Fear. He will go on to direct the 50 Shades movies after. R.I.P. by the way. He did a really good job here too. It's such a really decent film there. All right, number 3 is About a Boy. Of course, directed by the Weisz brothers, starring a very young Nicholas Hoult, Hugh Grant, Toni Collette, and it is, of course, about this bachelor who forms an unlikely bond with this lonely kid played by a very young Nicholas Hoult. And here you got Rachel Weisz, who plays, Rachel, who's a sharp single mother and potentially love interest for the Grant's character. And they really did play off each other very well. Definitely combine them as a couple here. Rachel definitely was very charming throughout. It is a really decent film if you guys ever seen it. All right, number 3 is The Mummy. Now, I'm actually going to go with the first 2 Mummy movies because those are the ones that she does appear in. But The Mummy, of course, is directed by Stephen Sommers, starring Brendan Fraser as... and, of course, here you where like adventurers accidentally awaken an ancient Egyptian priest with supernatural powers. Rachel Weisz plays Evelyn Evie, who I think does such a good job right here. She plays like she's a brilliant but clumsy Egyptologist who becomes like, who of course becomes the center of the adventure here, and of course her chemistry with Brendan Fraser is great. Now, of course, she is returning for. She did not come back for the third one, which the third one sounds good. But she is coming back for the 4th one, which we are getting a new one in 2028. Can't wait to see how that's going to be. But yeah, Rachel Weisz is really good in these films. I guess you could say The Mummy is really... She's done stuff beforehand, but I feel like The Mummy was really the one that really put on the map for most people, and a really good portrayal. And her best one is the one that won her an Oscar. Number 1, The Constant Gardener. Directed by Fernando Morales, starring Ray Fiennes, Rachel Weisz, and it's more like a British diplomat investigate his activist wife's in Kenya here. And of course, here you got Rachel Weisz, who plays Tessa Coyle, who's a passionate human rights activist investigating ethical drug testing in Africa. And don't kill in every story. Tessa drives the entire narrative through flashbacks. And again, Rachel Weisz actually won her first Oscar for this, and she does such a good job here. Ray Fiennes is great. Wonderful performance by the two. It's such a really good portrayal. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, give it a go. It's a really good performance. Also, you got Danny Houston, Bill Nye. I feel like that movie does not really get talked about as much, but anyway, that's pretty much it there. Here is my quick rundown. Number 10, Stealing Beauty. 9, The Favorite. 8, Black Widow. 7, The Constantine. 6, Oz, Great and Powerful. 5, Runaway Jury. 4, Confidence. 3, About a Boy. 2, The Mummy. And number 1 is The Constant Gardener. Now, there are a few other ones I could have included. Let's see what else we got here. The Fountain she was in, which was Darren Aronofsky's film. The Lobster, which was also directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. The Deep Blue Sea, not to be confused with the Shark movie. This one had Tom Hiddleston in it. Enemy of the Gates with Jude Law. The Brothers Bloom, which was Ron Johnson's film with Adrian Brody. Agora. The Michael Caine movie Youth was another really good one. Let's see. Rachel Weisz movies and TV shows. She's done some TV shows here and there too. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, my cousin Rachel's another really decent one. Definitely maybe Ryan Reynolds, Aragon she was in, which wasn't so good. The TV show Dead Ringer. She doesn't really have too much TV shows on her credit. The Shape of Things, Disobedience with Rachel McAdams. She's done some other really good roles there. But let me ask you guys, what are some of your favorite Rachel Weisz films? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Tim Steiner.